How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? This is Jeff Benjamin with the 9 to 5 Mac. This is Back to the Mac, episode number 16. And I promised you guys I would be back with an overview of my setup that I use for editing videos. So I'm not going to talk about any camera stuff here, but what I'm going to talk about is the hardware that's on my desk. And in typical Back to the Mac tradition, we are giving away something really cool. It is this right here, the CalDigit TS3 Plus Thunderbolt 3 dock. So stick around, not only will you see my desktop setup, but you also find out how to win that CalDigit TS3 Plus. This is Jeff Benjamin with Back to the Mac. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Mac. Be sure to thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and then enable notifications with the bell icon so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Okay, so obviously the very first thing that makes up my Mac Pro desktop editing setup is none other than the Mac Pro. We did a full in-depth top features overview of the Mac Pro, why I like it. I've done tons of Mac Pro videos. If you haven't seen those, check those out. I'm not gonna go real in-depth here with the Mac Pro because you guys have seen that plenty of times before. I'm really excited though to talk about some of the other parts of my desktop editing setup, what makes it all up. But before we get into some of the other stuff, obviously there is also the Pro Display XDR. Again, we did do a top features video outlining why I really appreciate this monitor. Not only do you get the 6K resolution, so you get all that extra real estate to play with, but the build quality on this display is second to none. But as I stated in our previous overviews of both the Mac Pro and the Pro Display XDR, most people don't need such products to get real work done, to get things done efficiently. There are plenty of Macs available out there, plenty of monitors available out there that will do the job just fine. That being said, these are very nice products, obviously. But here's what I'm really excited to talk about, the other aspects that make up my desktop editing setup, starting with this right here, the Keychron K2 keyboard. This is a wireless mechanical keyboard, which up until recently was virtually unheard of, having a wireless keyboard that also had mechanical key switches. You just didn't really see those two combined. But with the popularity of the Keychron K2, I think that's going to change. You're going to see a lot more wireless mechanical keyboards starting to hit the market. And this keyboard is excellent. It has great key travel. The battery life isn't the greatest, so I will say that. But other than the battery life, I love typing on this thing. It makes typing such a joy. And a lot of my work isn't just making videos. I'm not just behind a camera all day. I do a lot of typing and typing thousands and thousands of words for tutorials, reviews, overviews, whatever the case may be. I'm typing a lot. And this keyboard makes typing a joy. Battery life isn't great, but I can deal with that. Now, the next product I'd like to talk about are the iLoud micro monitors. Now, I didn't know anything about these. I thought the name sounded like generic. iLoud just sounds kind of goofy. But these micro monitors sound incredible for their size. Now, they're not going to have a whole lot of low end, but I didn't really need that in my environment. And these were actually recommended to me by friend of 9 to 5 Mac, Jonathan Morrison. So shout out to him for the recommendation. For the money and for the size especially, they sound pretty good. And while not everyone will agree, I actually like how they look next to the Pro Display XDR. And while I know it's kind of silly to play sound back over a video, I just wanted to do so anyway so you could kind of hear at least how these guys sound. Let's turn it up a little bit. There is some definite low-end punch for these little guys. Obviously, it's not going to replace a subwoofer, but like I said, they sound pretty good for their size. Okay, so working right along with those monitors is this right here. One of my favorite products on my desk. This is the Universal Audio Arrow. We already did a review of this device. This is a bus-powered audio interface from Universal Audio. It can be controlled via software. It can also be controlled directly from the device itself. You'll notice that multifunction knob. You can use that to not only adjust the monitor, so you can see here, adjusting the monitor volume. That's really cool, but I can actually press the monitor button again and switch over to headphones so I can easily control headphone and monitor volume right from the same button. See that? Switching between the two. So if I want to turn down the headphones or turn up the headphones, turn down the monitor so I can start recording, I can do that with ease. So nice to have this right on the desktop. But not just that, you can also adjust your preamps. This thing comes with 2 preamps, so I have a microphone, the Sennheiser MKH416 plugged into this, and I can adjust the volume of that. But what's really impressive about the Universal Audio Aero, just like all UA devices, is the fact that you can use DSP to emulate various microphones. So you can actually go in, create your own custom sound with this device, routing those preamps, which there are 2 of them on the Universal Audio Aero, through the processing and change up the sound. And you see those outputs there that go to the monitors. You also see the Thunderbolt 3 port and the cable. Again, this thing is bus powered, so you can work it with your MacBook Pro on the go. And I actually like that feature for the desktop as well, because there's one less power cable that I have to contend with. I also like that all the ports are on the back of the device, except for the headphones, obviously. I like that because it keeps my desktop surface nice and tidy. So I can just easily go in and change up any of the functions right there on the fly. Of course, it has phantom power, obviously, so that's going to work with any sort of microphone that you plug into this guy. I just think it looks so sleek right under the Pro Display XDR. I think I've waxed poetic about the UA Aero enough. Let's move on to the next item here, and that of course is the Sennheiser MKH416. This is the main microphone that I use on a day-to-day basis for doing voiceovers or narration or whatever the case may be. It's usually being fed by the MKH416 connected to the UA Aero. And one of my favorite devices is the German-engineered Yellowtech Mica, or Mica, I think it's Mica, but regardless of how you pronounce it, this is my favorite microphone boom arm ever. It is all aluminum, it's easy to adjust. It has a built-in XLR cable. It doesn't have those little slats that can tend to pinch your fingers. It's just a super well-designed microphone boom arm. It attaches right to my desk. I've had this thing for years and it hasn't failed me yet. I plan on keeping it for the long haul for sure. Now I'm thinking we're seeing a pattern here because these headphones, the ATH M50X from Audio-Technica, I've had these things for years as well. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. These sound great. I did have to replace the ear cups because they started to disintegrate, but I also like the fact that the cable is detachable, the little coiled cable. These things are built like a rock. I have abused these headphones and they've held up really well. I don't see myself replacing these at all either. Now, since I got the Mac Pro, I needed a way to quickly connect peripherals to the Mac Pro because I didn't want to have to reach down on the floor to plug stuff in. And that's where this guy comes in. This is the CalDigit TS3 Plus. As you can see, it has tons of ports on the back and the front. I simply connect one cable from my Mac Pro to this device, and then I have tons of additional I/O right there on the desktop. So for instance, I can connect this right here, my CF Express reader, for easy connectivity. I don't have to reach down to the Mac Pro, can do so right there from the desktop. And that is so nice. And also, we're giving one of these away, a space gray version. Thumbs up if you appreciate those giveaways. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. We're not going to talk so much about tech. Now we're going to talk about furniture, but not the boring type of furniture. We're actually going to talk about this UpDesk standing desk, and it has a little control panel right there in the front. I use this thing oh, obviously, right? It's my desk. That goes without saying. I use this thing constantly, but I also use the ability to raise and lower the desk on demand all the time. I mean, this is something I'm doing multiple times a day. And it's so convenient to have that functionality right there. You can stand if you're starting to get a little fatigued from sitting and vice versa. Super simple, super easy. This is from UpDesk. Definitely recommend you check those guys out, but really I recommend that you just look into any standing desk for that matter. I don't know if the so-called health benefits of having a standing desk are necessarily true, but I think there's definitely something to be said about just being up and standing and not always sitting all the time. I think it's definitely a good idea if it's going to motivate you to stand up once in a while. You're not sitting for multiple hours on end, which has to be unhealthy, right? And speaking of sitting, let's talk about the last key item on this overview. It is none other than the Herman Miller Aeron. Now, I do think people think this is like a magic chair, like it's gonna just automatically transform your work experience or something like that. No, it's not gonna do that, but it does feel good to sit in. It's highly adjustable, and I think it is a better chair than your run-of-the-mill Office Depot chair. I actually got this off eBay, and it was gently used, basically in a refurbished condition. It looked brand new when I got it home, and it is way cheaper than to buy this chair brand new, which I definitely don't recommend you do if you care about money, because they are very expensive, especially some of the higher end configurations. But as you can see, this thing is highly adjustable, and I definitely recommend it if you sit for long periods of time. All right, so let's talk about the giveaway, right? This is the CalDigit TS3 Plus Space Gray Edition. I already showed you the silver version in the video, something I use on my desktop right now. This is a Thunderbolt 3 dock, and in my opinion, it is still the best Thunderbolt 3 dock out there. It features UHS 2 SD card connectivity. It features an extra Thunderbolt 3 port for daisy chaining. It features multiple USB-C ports, a 10 gigabits per second version, and a 5 gigabits per second version. There are tons of ports on this device, and it can be yours just by entering to win. How do you enter? Well, it's super simple and super easy. Number 1, subscribe to 9to5Mac on YouTube. Number 2, follow 9to5Mac on Instagram or Twitter. And then 3, leave a comment with your Instagram or Twitter handle below. That way we can easily contact you, and the winner will be announced next Friday at noon. And this giveaway is open worldwide to anywhere that it's legal to ship to. But I do encourage you guys, please just don't leave your comment and with the Twitter handle or Instagram. Actually talk to me, because I want to hear what you guys think about this desktop setup. Do you have any suggestions, recommendations, complaints, praise, constructive criticism, whatever the case may be? Let me know below. I want to talk to you guys all about the Mac. So if you appreciated this episode of Back to the Mac, please leave me a thumbs up. If you want to see more episodes like this, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Back to the Mac.